Hi everyone, my name is Kristin Hill. Welcome to the Strong Roots podcast. We are doing this so that you can build a firm foundation in your faith and also a personal relationship with Jesus Christ. We are so excited that you're tuning into this series and we cannot wait to see what God does through you. Welcome to our last podcast and now what? We're talking about God's dream for you, and I'm excited.
I am too.
Mm-hmm.
Especially because we were just talking about this.
Yeah, so I think I just want to open up and ask, God's dream versus yours. What does that mean to you?
I struggle with this a lot, and I was talking to you about it earlier, because I have a lot of dreams in my heart, and I haven't been called to abandon those dreams,
Right.
and God has put new dreams into my heart that I normally wouldn't have had in my heart. But it's a heart shift. I mean, we've talked a lot about that through the series. Instead of following your dream for you and for your glory and for your, sure, I'd love to win a national championship. Before Jesus, I wanted to win a national championship on my horse because it would bring, wow, I would have new clients, or people would know my name, but that's so fleeting. That's not it's great in that moment, but guess what? You're going to have to keep working and working and working to always be at the top of the mind, and that's exhausting.
Right.
And that thought exhausts me. But now with my dream, it's we could win a national championship, and I very well may, but there's so much joy in that journey with Jesus and bringing me closer to God through that talent and through that dream. That's the success. It's not actually getting to the end, because that victory will be very hollow. But now if we achieve that, just getting there and that journey that I have with God through that, that's the victory right there.
What is the most exciting dream you believe God has for you?
I'm really feeling called to preach and bring people to Him through His gift of gab that He's given me.
Yeah.
That's not something I would have ever picked for myself. And I remember when I have been felt called to do that, I was like, I don't know about that. I don't think I could be equipped. But like you said all the things that I've been through are what equips me. And God qualifies the called. He doesn't call the qualified.
Yep.
And I'm really excited to see what He's going to do with that. And that's very shocking to me, because I'm very in my own flesh. I can't wait to win a national championship, and that'll be great. And I know it'll happen, but it's it's not going to have the ripple effect that speaking will. So I'm excited for that.
Oh, that's awesome. So God talks about having an abundant life. What does that mean to you in Jesus?
Oh man, I could write a book. Oh wait, they did. I think that there's a lot in the secular world and a lot in the world that you think is going to be successful, and it ends up being hollow. And that abundance isn't things. It's not money. It's not everything. All the stuff you accumulate. It's just. It goes back to the very basics of peace. And the abundance is in that no matter what happens, you're going to be fine. You're always going to have enough, because God's grace is always sufficient for today and for what we need. It's never more, that's never less. It's always just exactly what you need. And our society is like more, better, this, newer. And that's all fine and good, but the real joy is in the abundance of what He has for you. It doesn't look a lot like it does in the real world, but...
Do you feel like... comparison. We're talking about dreams. I feel like comparison robs us of the dreams that God's put in our life. Even robs us from abundance. Believing that...
Yeah.
So if you have something I don't, it makes me question my abundance in God.
Yeah.
Speak to me on that, or why do you think that is, or what part of our flesh does that?
All of it. First of all, backpedal and pause this and go and watch Pastor John's sermon from Christmas 2018, the Here Comes Heaven. Because that right there, that sermon, he preaches about how comparison will rob you of that gratitude.
Yes.
And it really will. And I love this segment because it really pulls from everything we talked about in this podcast, but staying in your lane, and your story isn't over, and God's not done with you yet, He's not, and comparison is very worldly, and we're always looking at what everybody else is doing. But if you're just grateful for what you have, you will live that abundance.
Yeah, because the dream God's put on your heart is different than the dream He's put.
Very
There's no
different.
one. I mean, even if we had the same dream, it's gonna look very different in each of our lives.
It will.
And
because we're different people and different talents and different. Everybody's gonna bring people to Jesus in a different way through their talents, and for me, it may be through my speaking and my horses, and for you, it's through your love and your patience and your obedience. It's just so different. It's so different,
and it's uniquely amazing.
Yeah, and how boring would it be if we all had the same way that we brought everybody to Jesus?
Well, I think that's what keeps people from giving their lives to Jesus too, is because they think like, now I'm gonna have to conform to this box
at all. Yeah, that's a good one too. Because I did think that for a while, like Satan was really in my heart, like, oh, I'm gonna have to give up this dream of my horses because I'm gonna have to sell all my horses and never fly ever again, and that's not it. Like you have those passions on your heart because of Jesus.
And who's going to reach those people if everyone just gave it up because they gave their life to Jesus?
Who knows? Who's going to look at me, riding my ponies around at the show and like, wow, she's so grateful, and even when she loses, she's still really graceful, and that's the kind of life I want to have. And you still get to enjoy the things that you did before Christ. It just makes them even better now. It really does. Yeah. I'm not just saying that.
Yes, I agree. So true. So, has there been an instance where God has answered a prayer differently than you wanted? And did it actually turn out talking about how awesome God is, did it turn out way better than you thought it would?
Always.
Give me an example.
Okay, so this is kind of, I have so many of these stories. The biggest one, though, because I talk a lot about my horses because I'm not one of those weird horse girls. When I was in 4-H as a kid, I probably was like maybe 12 or 13, and they were, for some reason, they decided that year to give away a pony. Somebody had a baby. It wasn't a foal. It was a foal, but it was also a pony, a halfling or pony. A foal and a pony are very different.
Okay.
Just for the people that aren't horse people all the time. So they were giving away this pony.
Thank you. I didn't know. Yes.
Yeah, like a pony is an actual breed of a horse, and then there's horse. A pony is under 56 inches.
Okay.
So this pony, they were giving it away. And you wrote an essay of why you think you should win. And I don't know, they've never done it since, and I don't know why they did it, but I wanted to win that pony.
Yes.
I prayed. And I remember, like, I wasn't all in for Jesus, but I prayed, God, please let me win that pony. Please, I want to win this pony.
Yeah.
And it was so cute. They, like, showed pictures of it, and I really wanted to win this pony. And I didn't win the pony. And I was happy for the girl who did, because she was a friend of mine. But I was like, man, that was my chance to get a second horse. Like, I'm never going to have another horse. And, like, I wasn't ungrateful for Annie. I just was ready for the next project in my mind, which I really, looking back, I'm like, why would anybody give a 13-year-old kid a young foal? Like, why?
Your parents were praying the opposite.
They were. God answered their prayers. And they're like, thank God she didn't win that pony.
Yes.
But, and I remember my mom even saying this, because I was really disappointed. My mom was probably like, yes.
Yes.
But she was like, Morgan, God has something else planned for you. You don't know what it is.
Yeah.
And I was like, but I wanted the pony, Mom. And that girl, she wins everything. And my mom's like, God has a different plan for you, Morgan. She always said that. And she was right, though.
Yeah.
Because when a few years later, my old mare Annie, she was my first horse, and I wanted to breed her to have a baby. And the vets had told us she would never have another baby. That's the reason her old owners were selling her. She was never supposed to have another baby. She was 22, which is old for a horse. But she'd had babies in the past, so my vet said, she'll be okay. We'll just keep an eye on it. And lo and behold, she got pregnant. And she had Blaze, who is my pride and joy. He was born in my lap when I was 18. And then now I'm training him for nationals. I would never have had that opportunity had I won that pony.
Right.
So it was like God, he didn't answer my prayer, but it just it turned out to be
better.
Why. And now I thought I would never have another horse. Now I have 4. So,
that is way better.
Yeah, way better.
Abundant.
And way more abundant. Yeah, so it's like, God, he's there. He had a hand in all that.
Yeah.
He knew I was going to have Blaze. He knew Annie was going to get pregnant one last time. And now here it is.
What would you have done with that pony?
I don't know. Probably would have messed it up because I didn't know what I was doing back then. Yes. I mean, some days I still feel like I don't. But
that's great.
I wouldn't go to nationals with him.
Mm-hmm.
Wouldn't be jumping. It's
right.
God be wildin'.
That's yes.
So it's okay if you don't win the pony.
Yes, absolutely. So God is a good dad.
He's very good.
He has boundaries. He's a discipline.
Yep.
He'll tell you yes and no.
Mm-hmm.
So how has he demonstrated that he's a good dad in your life in regards to your dreams?
Well, not winning that pony.
Yeah.
I go back to my favorite verse on this one, Jeremiah 29:11, because like he knows the plans that he has for you, and everything that you get or don't get is going to be in line with those plans. And even though you can't see it, you still have to trust. Like you do not see what I'm doing now, but later you will. And I know Jesus was speaking that into his life, like you don't understand what I'm doing, but you will through the crucifixion. But that speaks into our own lives. Like you don't understand what he's doing, but one day it will all make sense. One day you will look back, and that's the best example I have of him being the best dad, because he's got the whole puzzle box. We just have a few pieces, but we trust that he's gonna do it. He's gonna do what he needs to do for our lives.
Before we end, I want to end. What are you passionate about? What's your line you're praying God answers? Like, what is the deepest desire of your heart right now? What do you want God to do?
Just use me. And it sounds so basic. But use me. I want people to look at my life and say, like, this is what you get if you follow Jesus. This is the shining example. And it isn't all sunshine and rainbows.
Nope.
It isn't all happy all the time. I'm not happy all the time. I have we all do.
Yeah.
And I'd love to talk about those negatives. I don't like to talk of negatives, but just this is just a snapshot of what you see on my life. This isn't how it is all the time. There's days I cry myself to sleep. There's days where
he's right.
But he's right there. He's right there, and he's promising it will be okay. I know the plans. It's not saying you know the plans. Right. I know the plans.
Absolutely. Thank you. This was
Always.
the best.
I know. Always.
Oh, thank you guys for tuning in. That was the last of this series. Thank you so much for joining us for all 10. And man, hopefully
you enjoyed it. So we can do more.
Yes. Yeah. And
got a lot to say.
Same. So take care. Thank you guys.